Welcome for another episode. Let's have a discussion why salons that are classified as Class A and Class B are dying or are not performing well currently. At the same time, we have growth of what I call salons C+, Cs, and this in Kenya. To begin with, let's see how these salons are classified. Salons can be classified into categories. Some people would say tier A and tier B or tier 2 and so on. But basically, in summary, salons can be classified using location, pricing, and services offered. Those are the key classifications. Maybe let me use an example of a location. A salon in a high-end mall or 5-star salon is normally classified as Class A or B or tier 1 and 2. Whereas salons in low-class estates are normally classified as Class Ds. In terms of pricing, in a salon, let's take an example of a color service. If you charge 15,000 for a color service, that in Class A, you'll find the same color service going for around 1,000 in Class D. In terms of services offered, there are certain services that may not be available or will not be available in Class D salons. For example, you don't expect to have an advanced facial being performed in a Class D salon. It's practically impossible. Also, the facilities and the ambience will also assist in categorizing. So let's begin and understand why are these Class A salons not performing well or are dying, or you can just say death of Class A and B. One of the factors that contributed was Corona. Corona heavily impacted these salons in two ways. One, there was prolonged closure, led to people taking a risk of trying to do a service in the estates where they come from, or inviting some of these service providers to perform these services at home. So what happened? The client discovered he can still get the same service that is spending, let's say, 20,000 in tier A. He can still get the same service at 15,000 or 10,000 in the estate or at home. So now this led to some clients from that Corona period have resulted to what I call home service. Another factor is clients who had heavy earnings before Corona. Some of these earnings were cut down, and also some of the allowances and benefits were withdrawn. So now, surviving within their salary, these clients have opted to taking these services at home. So that is one. Another thing is Class A and B salons mostly were run and owned by people who have financial muscles in the society. For example, for you to be able to afford a rent of about 500,000 in a mall, you must be doing well. So these service providers, they were very excellent, or they are very excellent, but they are unable to provide, or they don't have those financial muscles. So now what has happened, because of them having the skills and feeling that they are not being treated well in Class A salons, they opted to open salons adjacent to the malls or to the hotels. So let me use an example of Westlands. So you would find a stylist who used to work at Sarit, a salon in Sarit, moves up and just opens a salon along Mudithi Road. It's still in Westlands. So, and offers the same services they were offering before. So clients will move out and follow this stylist. In Class A, because of this, now Class A lacked staff. So they started doing mass recruitment. So they recruited people who have no experience. So what happened is, same facility, same product, but the service providers are not well educated, not as such, they don't have that experience. So a client would wonder, why would I pay 20,000 for my hair be poorly done in the name of going to a class A salon? I would rather go to a lower grade, let's say C, and have my hair done in an excellent way. So these are some of the few factors that now have led to disappearance, or you'll find that now class A salons are dying gradually. Another reason why class A salons are dying is heavy taxation from the government. Once you start a company, you are expected to remit taxes. So what happened is, for you to do this, you will want to have your staff contribute towards these taxes. Staffs are not listening to this. So I've known many staffs who've moved from high-end salons just because of the withholding tax issue, and they went to establish their own. So at Mama Njeri level, at our local level, no one bothers to push you on taxes. So heavy taxation has led to most of salon owners trying to share the cost with the stylist, and in turn, the stylists have walked away. Now what has happened? The salon owners have recruited people with no experience to try and fill in the gaps. So again, at the end of the day, the service, the quality of the services, they've been degraded downwards. So that's one of that's some of the reasons. Another reason is this commission structure currently being applied, for example, in Kenya, is not favoring salon owners. Let's look at an example where you pay 40% to a stylist and you retain 60%, or you pay 50% and you retain 50%. That calculation must be done on a net price. What do I mean? What I mean, the salon first, you must sit down with your stylist and explain to them, if this service is costing 15,000, we are using 2,000 to generate the service. So for this to happen, it means we need to have a way. First, we cannot do our calculations based on 15,000. We are going to do our calculation based on 13,000. So we've set aside 2,000 for the salon. In simple words, what I'm trying to explain is, now salon owners must think a way whereby you divide the revenue into three. The salon owner takes the part X, stylist Y, and the salon itself takes Z. So you'll make some profits. But if you are going to work on your 50-50% arrangement or your 40-60 arrangement, at the end of the day, you are now going to work at a loss as a salon owner. I know these news are not good for stylists, but let me just say now, I'm discussing issues affecting salons and not stylists. Once you take your 40%, you've gone. Look at this scenario. You've done your 50%. Let's say this is an unserviced product. Let's say barbering. And barbering in my salon, at high end, we are charging 2,000. So you've done your 60%. You're done. You've taken your 50%, you're gone. From my 50% as a salon owner, I have to pay rent, I have to pay advertisement, I have to pay for water, I have to pay for products, that were used, I have to pay for electricity, I have to pay for advertisement, then I have to pay for taxes. So that becomes unfair and is not favoring the salon owners. So step one, salon owners, don't pay on gross, pay on net. Another factor that also contributed is some of these salon owners were not very honest or not honest when it comes to treating staff. Most of them had arrogance, or what we call kiburi. So because of this mistreatment and misjudgment, where you feel you are a god in an industry. So what happened? The skilled staff who can no longer take that S or BS moved up and opened their own salons. So it means you've been left with your best structure in the market. You have an high-end setup, but you don't have a stylist. Yes, you have customers who are still coming, but you don't have stylists. So these are some of the factors that have really killed salon business in Kenya. So in nutshell is heavy taxation from the government, lack of skilled labor. Now skilled labor, these are service providers. They moved on to start their own salons. When you are left with non-skilled people to work for you, so you can't generate more income because clients are not getting the best services from your salon. Then KRA taxation, it's another factor, and pricing and wrong calculation of commissions. So those are a few factors that have led Class A and B salons not performing well. But overall, there's what I call the global financial effect, where everyone is feeling a pain, and now people are saying, fine, let's cut down and see how best we can survive in the market. Again, this emergence, the emerging of natural hair, where people feel we can do better, we can make our hair at home than in a salon, is also a contributor to the failure of Class A salon. Join me as I discuss the next item, why there is a growth of C+ salons